There we go. All right. Hey, happy Monday, everybody. I hope you've had a great Monday. Mine has been quite challenging, but here I am. And I want to go over a case study with you guys because I feel like probably around 80% of Americans are in this situation. Here's the problem about the situation, though. The situation is it looks good. It looks like you're going to be okay. It looks like things are going to work out. It looks like you're going to retire. But the numbers don't lie. And all in all, when you start to break everything down, people start to realize, oh no, oh, I didn't know that this is going to equivalent into this and this is going to look like this. So don't worry, don't fret. Like I said, most Americans are in this boat. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, shoot, this is me in this boat, then I'd suggest you do something about it. Now, don't worry, because I used to be in this boat as well. I used to have certain vehicles or tools to use for retirement. Let me just state this, though. Like, I cannot say this enough. I need you to lean in. I need you to lean in and listen to every single word that I say when I say this, okay? Your retirement savings plan, which more than likely, you're using a 401k at your job because they offer that to you, 403b, 401a, whatever it is. They're all cousins, sisters, brothers. But whatever retirement savings plan you're using, okay, that is not a retirement plan. It's a retirement account. Okay, let me repeat that. Whatever retirement savings plan you're using from your job, 401k, 403b, 401a, whatever it is, that is not a retirement plan. It's just a retirement account. One of very many that you can use for retirement, okay? So I just want to put that out there because that is super important, and that is what's tripping a lot of Americans up. Now, also statistically, I want to tell you this, it's getting to the point now where people are not going to be able to retire. They're not. That is the trend. Okay, like serious, I'm not even just throwing stuff out there just to be saying it to get you all riled up. No, these are the facts. In about the next 10 years, people are not even going to be able to retire. They're going to have to work until they die. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want that to be my situation. And when I started learning about this stuff, I learned, dang, I was headed down that road. I had no clue that I was going to be not able to retire. At least fully not able to retire. I was still going to have some kind of job, part-time, whatever. So again, a lot of Americans fall into this trap because they are told, hey, you got a 401k, you're good. No, also statistically, only about 3 to 4% get to like that $1 million mark. And actually it's a little bit less, last statistic I looked at, but I'm just being generous, okay? So under 4% are getting to that $1 million mark. And people say, oh, you need $1 million to retire. That's also false. Because if you just have an IRA with $1 million and you still haven't paid taxes in that sucker, okay, 40 grand a year before taxes, okay, and then whatever the tax rate is that at that present moment, you're going to be paying those taxes. So it's less than $40,000 a year. I don't know about you guys, but I can't live off of $40,000 a year, especially in the future when inflation is higher and cost of living is higher. Because we can barely even do it now, right? Okay, so even if you are the top 3% that gets to $1 million in their IRA, you're still not going to be able to fully retire. That should scare you guys. That should really be scary, and that should really open your eyes. And it should make you want to start taking this seriously. 30-somethings. If you're in your 30s right now, crucial time to start this. Okay, like you can't play. Now it starts today. Okay, I can't even stress that enough either. You guys got to quit playing. I know you want to be outside. I know you want to go to Bali and all these other wherever it is that you're trying to do. I know you want to buy the shoes, the purses. But if you keep doing that, and if you keep that behavior up, 30-somethings, you're going to be scraping and scrapping. You're going to be really trying hard to catch up. 40-somethings. Okay, so my 40-somethings. Some of y'all, you're like, yeah, I played in my 30s. I did what I wanted to do. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it was just tight and tough, and then you're just getting to the point where things are okay and you can actually pay your bills. I got it, right? I just hit 40 this year, so I get it. But my 40-somethings, you're going to have to play a little bit of catch-up. You're going to have to play hardball a little bit. Man, Kristen, I don't want to save that much. Sorry, I have nothing else for you because all you have is a retirement savings account, not a retirement plan. We've got to make up for lost time. My 50-somethings, don't worry. It's not all over and all hope is lost for you either, but you're going to have to play ball harder than the 40-somethings are going to have to. a lot of makeup of time that you lost, okay? So I have them all in all those age ranges. Now you said, Kristen, you left out the 20 somethings. I didn't mean to, but you guys, you have the liberty of actually catching on to this information today, saying, you know what? I'm going to use this information. I don't have to put as much back as the 30 somethings, 40 somethings, or 50 somethings because I have time. And you do. But one big thing that is going to hit you guys is the fact that taxes are actually going to affect you more than the rest of us. Yeah, y'all getting hit for real, for real. So my 20 somethings, if you're putting your money somewhere where you're not really going to be getting great tax breaks, where you're going to be getting hit, in the middle of the street with taxes, how high they want to take them up, it's you guys that are going to be affected by that, the 20 something. So if you're listening right now and you're in your 20s, your biggest thing is going to be, great, grow the money, but grow it somewhere where I don't have to pay taxes on it later in the future. Okay? Now, so I just gave you guys your alarm for whatever age you are, but the thing for all the age groups is the same. You got to start taking this seriously today. Okay? And like I said at the beginning of this live, about 80% of Americans, they are stuck thinking that their 401k at their job or their 403b or their 401a is a retirement plan, and it is not a retirement plan. It's a retirement account. Now, within your retirement portfolio, you want to have a lot of different things going on. And if you don't have a lot of different things going on in your portfolio, well, then what happens is if one doesn't perform like you need it to, you just put all your eggs in one basket and you're at liberty to how that performs. Is that how you want to go about retirement? Not me. True story time. I was 24 years old, starting my first real job, and I'm sitting there with the HR lady. She's telling me to fill out papers, do this, do that. I'm like, all right, cool. So I pull it up, and I'm looking at everything, and I say, wait a minute. So you asked me to put a percentage on this, and it's going to 401k, correct? She's like, yeah. And I was like, well, if I put a lot of money in here, and let's say, because I want to retire at earliest, I want to try at 59 and a half years old, like it says on this paper. What if I get to age 59 and the market crashes? Are you guys going to give me back my money? She looks at me and like almost laughs in my face, and she's like, no. And I remember thinking in that moment as a 24-year-old, y'all look crazy. Like, y'all done lost your mind. Like, y'all really, this is what we do? We put all of our eggs in that basket, and then we just like hope that the market doesn't crash a year or even 5 years before we want to retire? Like, in my 24-year-old mind, I was like, that's insane. Y'all drinking Kool-Aid. Like, that's crazy for people to just accept this. Because she just said it like, oh, this is just what happens. No. I don't like that. So I remember always having in the back of my mind, if I can find something that's gonna like debunk that, or other baskets to put my eggs in. Yeah, cool, I have this basket too, but just other baskets that can kind of like work as a fail-safe. Just in case this happens, or just in case I lose money here, I always have something else. I was always game for learning what that was, and fortunately I did. And now here I am teaching people, and that's what I do all day, every day. Now let's talk about the 80%, right? The Americans that are throwing a bunch of money in their 401ks, not really realizing that they can diversify, all right? And I'm going to show you something here. So when I do hold on, let me pull it up first. When I do my financial plans, I take everything that person has up to that point, okay? And then what pops out on my retirement calculator. So I have an IRA calculator, I have a calculator for some other things, and it all ties into there and it adds it up, excuse me. And this is an example of one I did. This was last week. Okay, so let me flip my camera around. And they get this report. Hold on. Oops. It scooted over. There we go. And so they get this report sent to them, right? So that they can kind of have an idea of what it is that they have going on right now. The biggest thing that shocks a lot of my clients is they might even be on track to getting to that $1 million mark. And they're like, yep, see, I'm on track. I'm going to have over $1 million. But you have to think about how that $1 million has to last you in retirement for the full duration of retirement. And like I said, on top of that, taxes. Now, of course, in our calculator, we're using the current tax rate. So this isn't even the higher tax rate that a lot of people are going to be coming up against. Okay. So I'm just being nice with the nicer tax rate right now. But as you can see, there's already been a schedule for projected tax increases in 2026. It's happening. I told you guys by 2030, buckle your seatbelts. It's about to be a rough ride. Okay. So this is just using the current one. I had this client that said, oh, I'm going to have over $1 million. I'm projected to have over $1 million in my retirement bucket, but it was all mostly in the same bucket. So they're going to end up getting hit with taxes. And what they're going to have left over is about $26,830 a year. Okay. That's annually. Now, I don't know about you, but again, like I said, I'm going to need way more than $26,830 a year to retire on. And this is where most people stand. Now, no, I take that back. No, most people stand in the fact that they think this is all they need. But honestly, the average balance for most retirement portfolios, most of the time they have it in retirement savings plans that are deferred for taxes, meaning you're not going to pay your taxes now, but you pay them later. When they're higher, most people, this number is around 200,000, 300,000, if that. Now, you're looking at $1 million. And if most people are around 200,000 to 300,000, you can only imagine what that's going to look like. So this is one of my clients where they were actually in a better, a better standing as far as projections are concerned, but they're still not going to have a lot to live off of. There's people with a whole lot less that are projected to have 300, 200, right? So like I said, you can only imagine what that's going to look like. Now, I'm showing that to you because again, like I said, most people are in this boat. They have zero clue that they're in this boat. They think it's more like a, like I said, not a delusion or just a projection, right? Because you don't know. No one sat you down and taught you, hey, these are some things that you have that you can do in your portfolio. Hey, these are some options that you can utilize to make sure all your eggs aren't in this basket or all your eggs aren't going to taxes, right? So there's things that you need to break down within this portfolio so that you're not in a situation where all your money has to be taxed. You do not want to be in a situation where all your money has to be taxed in retirement. So what's really awesome about this is what I did was I took what that person was already used to saving, right? I mean, she was really blowing that 401k up. She's putting all kind of money in there. And I'm like, yo, you got to calm down. Yes, like you're saving enough money for retirement, but all of it's going over here. We have to diversify how that money's being saved. So if you're used to between your 401k and between some other things you have going on, Roth IRA, whatever it is, if you're used to, putting back a total of $1,000, all right, well, you need to get a hold of that and you need to take that $1,000 and you need to divvy it up between all the different ways that you can grow money so that you have a backup plan for when one way is not performing like you need it to for retirement. Okay. She's like, cool, I got it. That makes sense. So we're not even adding to what she's already saving. Okay. We're just moving it around to different places so that it makes sense for her so that when she gets to retirement, she has money that's growing in an account that never loses money, right? But it gives pretty great gains. It mirrors the market. So that's indexing. She has an account where she's, rolling her dice in the market. We call that variable. She has an account that's fixed, meaning they gave her a fixed rate. We try to find the higher fixed rates if you're going to choose that route because you do want to outpace inflation. But she has that going on too. So now all those 3 different ways that you grow money, she's got that going on in her portfolio, guys. So again, she's not like she really has something growing at all times in her portfolio more than likely because she's divvied it all out. She's diversified it. Now for taxes, I will say it was mostly in tax deferred accounts. So she was in the situation where she's going to have to defer her taxes, meaning the government literally can say to her, you know what? Tax rate's 57%. And, we would say we're sorry, but we're not. So you have to start paying 57% in taxes. And she says, but when I saved this money, the tax rate was 22%. I figured that was okay, or, the highest I'd ever want to go. But now you're telling me 57? And I know y'all sitting here like, yeah, right. No, right. The highest top marginal tax rate back in the 40s was around 94%. If you don't think the government will do it just to keep this country running, well, go ahead and play with them and see, okay? Because we're in some pretty hard economic times right now. So I don't think I would play with that. Now, if they say, it's 57% now, well, now you got to take that money that you were projecting only paying 22% taxes on, and you got to give up an extra 30-something% more in taxes. because you decided to defer your taxes and not pay them now when they were lower and when you knew what they were, right? So there's that. So I was like, hey, we got to diversify this too. You got to diversify your money in tax now accounts, or I like to call them tax always accounts, because you're always being taxed. But, you know, those like your money markets, CDs, savings accounts, right? Mutual funds. You go ahead, you pay your taxes up front now like everybody does. You're paying taxes on growth. You're paying taxes on some type of distribution or, you know, exit strategy, you know, especially for accounts that make you pay capital gains taxes or brokerage fees, things like that, right? So it's just a little bit of a mess. It's like, I'm always paying something out of those, all right? But you don't want all your money sitting in that. And you have tax deferred. Cool. If you have a little bit of tax deferred money still laying around whenever you go retire, at least it's not all your money in a tax deferred account. So when they come at you for 57%, you say, all right, whatever. I knew y'all was going to do this jacked up stuff anyway, but I moved most of my money out of here. So here's your little 57% out of this tax deferred account. But guess what? You diversified, and you also have money in tax advantaged accounts. So that money is not going to be taxed. It's not going to be taxed at all. So again, what you've done is you properly diversified your portfolio. 80% of Americans do not have a properly diversified portfolio. They think diversification goes as far as diversifying the strategies in their 401k. That's where that stops. Don't beat yourself up about it, because no one's ever taught you otherwise, right? But here I am today teaching you otherwise and letting you know, if that's all you got, don't say I never told you. So I'm going to flip my camera back around to show you. All I really did was just diversify what that client had. Okay. Okay, there we go. So when we get to the point where we're like, all right, we're going to take what you have, what you're already used to saving, and we're just going to move it around to make sure that it's in different buckets. So those different buckets have each other's backs so that you can still retire even if all mayhem and chaos breaks loose and the market goes down. You're still good, right? And so just by even just diversifying and moving the money around that she was already used to saving, we got that income up after taxes to about $68,000. No, that is not sorcery or magic or anything. Guys, it's just retirement planning, right? You can have over $1 million, but if it's not in the same place and it's not going to work for you like, you know, other places can, it doesn't matter. The actual amount doesn't matter if it's not in the right place using the right strategies. All right. So as you can see, she wound up with roughly the same projected, account balances between all the accounts, because we kind of moved everything around. We diversified. We divvied it up. What she was already used to saving, we were able to increase her retirement income significantly. All right. Like that's huge. I could live off of $68,000 a year after taxes. I don't know about you, but I could. I wouldn't, complain about that at all. Especially when you took me from 26, 28 to 68, all because you just made some moves in my portfolio to make things make more sense, to make them work together, right? And that's another thing too that people don't know, is that those accounts that you have should be working together. You should be able to make them talk. They should be able to have each other's back, right? Without you having to do anything. So that is, like I said, around 80% of Americans, that is what they have going on in their portfolio right now. It is a travesty because a lot of them don't know that that's a setup for them to not be able to retire, at least fully retire, okay? So if you're a millennial like me, I already know us. We don't even like working the jobs right now. We're not even close to retirement, right? So if you're a millennial, you already know you're not trying to live that life, right? You need to get serious about retirement planning. If you're in your 40s, you're like, wow, this was an eye-opener. I'm up the creek without a paddle. Yeah, we need to get on it. 50s, you really need to get on it. I'm not going to say I can't help you, because I can, but it's going to take a lot of work, and you're going to have to get serious about putting back some money to save for retirement. And my 20-somethings, you better get on it now, because you'll regret it if you don't. All right, so hopefully that helped you guys. I hope that I was able to kind of shed some light on what's really going on in retirement, right? What's really going on in your portfolio and what needs to go on. If you have any questions, just let me know. I will post my link to schedule a consultation. Once we go through an initial consultation, I'll work with you from now until you retire, until the end of time, right? Annual reviews, make sure you're on track. Like I said, I hope somebody learned something today from this, and that it was almost like a red alarm to them, like, hey, that sounds like me, and I need to start doing something about it. You guys have a great rest of your Monday.